Pues test, 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 test. Yes.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, can we all try to take our seats? We'll soon start. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all try to take our seats? We will soon start the opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an important announcement from our colleagues handling the app, the event app. So please, you can come.
Yeah, they are going to. Yes. So now yeah, good morning. Good morning, team. So let's settle down. So we have an agenda app with the events management application. So we'll be following through all the agenda and the sessions through the application. So on the display is the QR code to download the application. So kindly scan the code using your phones. So we have the event management application. Kindly scan the code on your screen. So once you scan the code, it will redirect you to a place where you can download the application. Once you download the application, register, just create a small profile of yourself, your name, and then your email. After you enter your email and your name, you submit. After submission, you'll have your application ready. So for you to find the GMES and Africa forum, you type in the search bar, you type GMES, GMES. Once you get GMES, you click on the add button, the plus, or you check the forum, the event forum. If you select GMES, it will ask you for a code. So that's why you'll input 2023 as your login code. So I repeat the steps. Scan the code on your screen for those who do not have the application yet. Once you scan the code, it will take you to either App Store or Play Store, depending on your type of the device. So from Play Store or App Store, you download the WebEx events. It's called WebEx. After downloading, you create a brief profile about yourself. So it will require your email and your name. You require your email and your name. After creating the profile, you search for GMES, GMES, and you select GMES and Africa Phase 2 Forum. This is the only one within that application bucket or container. Once you select GMES and Africa, it will ask you for a code, a login code. So you'll use 2023 as your login code. You'll use 2023. So from the application, you'll find a list of speakers, a list of the agenda, the announcements, the live stream link for those who will be following us on YouTube. And then the consortia. So every consortia is listed within the application. You can check what is in individual consortia. So for all those who are coming from the consortia, we request you to submit your visibility materials or any other document that you want uploaded in the application so that you update. Okay, we'll be going around, so in case you have any problem, we'll help you fix the issue. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin, and we'll have the members of the High Table, His Excellency, the Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation of the African Union Commission. We will have a representative of the European Union and the President of NAS, who will soon join us before we begin the ceremony. Thank you, Your Excellency. We begin with a presentation by our colleague, Dr. Azuma from the University of Ghana, who is going to show us a collection of achievements and successes made by the GMES and Africa program. It's going to be a qualitative and quantitative summary, so to speak, of what GMES has been able to achieve so far. So I am honored to invite Dr. Azuma for that short presentation before we begin the official opening ceremony proper. Dr. Azuma, you're welcome.
Good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you. I should be feeling the pressure, so I expected a warm response. All protocol observed, permit me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Azuma from Ghana, and I work with one of the consortium of the project. So today is about GMES. My objective here is very simple. It's just to give you a pictorial picture of what GMES Phase 2 has done so far, and also give you a few examples of how we are impacting life in Africa. We already know this, that GMES is a baby of a long-standing collaboration between African Union and European Union. It's about Earth observation, and the program is set to design to develop services in the water and natural resources areas, marine areas and coastal areas, whilst building capacity in that field and creating awareness of the potential of Earth observation. Now let's go straight to phase 2. So my presentation is limited to phase 2. Let's not confuse it with what has been done in phase 1, which was 4 years, but here we are talking about what we have done since 2022 to today. This program, or the phase 2, is built around 6 pillars. We have the EO data access, EO information services, capacity building, outreach, upgrade, and dissemination. I jumped the first one and the fifth one because that is what brings the difference between the phase 1 and the phase 2. So in phase 2, we have 2 more pillars that we are working with, which is policy framework and knowledge management. So the program, phase 2, cut across the 5 regions of Africa, economic regions. We are in 41 countries. When I say we are, talking in terms of the list and the technical partners, but I'm not adding those that do not have partners but have been covered by the project. Then 88 institutions have come together to develop and implement 23 EO services. Out of these, 15 are from the land, water and natural resources, and 8 from the marine and coastal areas. The consortia, let's go briefly into them. So these are the list of the consortia. We have SICOS from Congo, Centre de Suivi Écologique from Senegal, CSR from South Africa, ICPA from Kenya, OSS from Tunisia, RCMRD from Kenya again, SASCA, Namibia, and University of Ghana, where I come from, Ghana. Then, let's see what they do. Under SICOS covers 10 countries, and they provide services to potential population of 291 million people, and they work on gestion des ressources naturelles en Afrique centrale. They will all have opportunity to go into detail, so I'm just touching what they do just briefly. We move to the next one, is CSE of Senegal. They work on gestion durable des zones humides et des inondations en Afrique de l'Ouest. And they also cover 10 countries with a population more than 410 million. The next, CSR from South Africa, they have 9 countries they are working with, and also 289 population that could be potential beneficiaries of the project. The next one, I think APAC, they have they've been monitoring natural resources and food security in Eastern Africa region. They cover 5 countries, almost, let's say, 200 million people are benefiting from it. We will see some of the benefits right now. We have the OSS. They work on the observation de la terre pour la gestion durable des terres et de l'eau en Afrique du Nord. We also have the countries and the population, 6 and 220. Then the RCMRD, they cover 14 countries, quite a lot in Eastern Africa, and they work on the land degradation and wetland monitoring and assessment in Eastern Africa. The last but one, if I'm not mistaken, we have SASCA, wetland assessment and monitoring services for transboundary basin in Southern Africa. And we can also see the countries that they cover. Then the University of Ghana, which work on marine and coastal areas management in West Africa, in North and West Africa. They have the biggest. It doesn't mean we are greedy, but it's because we are handling the ocean area. We have 18 countries that we are covering with a larger population of 582 million. Then, these 8 consortia have developed 9 regional observatories so far, let's say geoportal, that provide, facilitate data access and also EO services and so forth. How do they do that? To be able to facilitate the data access, EO services, capacity building, all those things, the program has built so many networks around and collaboration with other programs. Let's go through it quickly. These are 4 networks that have been created under the phase 2. The first one started at the end of, pop-up at the end of phase 1, but it really came in phase 2. In fact, it's even in 2-in-1 network, where we had the Francophone group and the Anglophone group, and that is the GMES and Africa Academia Network. We have the women in GMES. Our women are very strong. You will see it throughout the forum. We also have the African expert in flood and wetland network. And the last one, but not the least, is the Geo-Africa Incubator and Accelerator. They all have opportunities to tell you what they do and how they do it best. Then the GMS program also supports other initiatives in the same Earth observation. And I can mention few. We have the Digital Earth Africa, Space in Africa, the Copernicus Framework Partnership Agreement for Copernicus User Update, Goose Africa, and also EO Africa. Let's talk briefly about capacity building, which is a core pillar of phase 2. So far, we have 35 training workshops with 3 international competitions. More than 3,100 people have been trained. And out of these trained people, we have students, we have policy makers, we have technical staff, and we have people from in the communication, the field of communication, media, journalists, and so forth. Please pay attention to the percentage of women. I will not mention it. Let's continue. The number has raised from 33 now to 34. We keep increasing our percentages. You see, this for internships so far. When we do internships, sometimes we bring people in, we train them, we raise their knowledge in EO. So that is what has been done within since last year to now. Then we also have 50 scholarships has been awarded, and now we've moved from 34 to 40%. So we are just telling you how important the women are in phase 2 as well. And the scholarships cover the MSc and PhD. So now we are getting to the end. I normally don't take so much time, and they've not given me much. So let's talk about how what we do impact Africa. And let me make it clear here, they are just examples from countries, one. It doesn't mean that is overall, just to show a little bit of it, and we'll have time to go into details. Since we are in Egypt, I think the right thing to do is to start from what we do here. So the project helped to monitor oil pollution in the Canal de Suez and the Red Sea, and these maps are produced often as it occurs, but I think almost every 2 weeks, SEDARE produce it, and we do have this data shared with policymakers. They use it to locate the oil spill and also see the extent of it and take decisions. This is a land degradation map produced in Kenya, and this map has helped find the hotspot where we have depletion of trees, let me put it this way, and the information was used to start another project that intend planting 15 billion trees from now until 2032. So this is the impact of the project. I like this picture. GMS, the guy is wearing GMS and is looking into the future. He knows, without knowing, if I can say like that he will solve some of his problem. In Ghana, we offer or the fishermen receive ocean state information that they use to take decisions before going to sea. And it's just one of the countries as I mentioned. Then in South Africa, they produce monthly bulletin that people use to take decision of coral reef. It helps to protect the reef against bleaching. And we all know that coral reefs are very important when it comes to economic input in South Africa and other countries. We create awareness, like I said. This is just one example. In Senegal, during the World International Day of Women, there was an open door program. Women were involved. The youth have access to the information. Even the pupils from primary school were also introduced to the Earth observation potentials. In Benin, for instance, when mangrove maps were produced, we were able to know that, hey, you have to go and validate it, and through the validation, women were engaged, were educated how to protect their mangroves. So these are the few things we do with GMES Africa in phase 2. The road seems to be a long one. Slowly we are getting there, but slowly and surely we are also achieving the Agenda 2023. And in doing so, fortunately, we are also helping, EU services are helping to achieve the SDGs. I promised myself to learn few words of local language before leaving. So I think the first one I'll be able to get is shukran. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azuma, for that very interesting presentation on what GMES has been able to do so far. And you could see the evidence speaks for itself. Thank you once again. I now have the pleasure to invite members of the high table to join us here on stage. Your Excellency and the representative of the European Commission, as well as Professor Islam of NAS. Please, you may join us on the high table. Thank you. Now we're getting into the official opening ceremony, and we will begin with a presentation, a speech for that matter, from Catherine Giot, who represents the European Commission here, but Catherine has also been involved in working with the African Union and all partners across Africa in the implementation of GMES in Africa from phases 1 to 2. So she's, I can say, a pillar of the GMES in Africa framework. Catherine, please join me on the podium to deliver your speech.
Good morning. Excellency Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology and Innovation of the African Union Commission, Professor Islam Abouelmag, President of the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Science in Egypt, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be with you today representing the European Union for the opening session of the GMES in Africa Forum. I would like first to express my gratitude to Egyptian authorities who are hosting us here in Sharm el-Sheikh and to the African Union Commission for the organization of the forum. The forum is a key milestone of the GMES in Africa Forum. Last time it met, it was in Abidjan, and unfortunately due to COVID-19 constraints, we were not able to all be there. So I'm more than happy to be here with you this week. GMES in Africa, you know it stands for the Global Monitoring for Environment and Security in Africa. This joint program of the African Union Commission and the European Commission provides African countries with Earth observation data and information. It is designed to support the sustainable management of natural resources, to support informed decision-making processes, and to support the development of a space ecosystem. The forum is a platform for engagement. During the next days, the fruitful discussion and the different panels are meant to showcase the key features of our cooperation. Indeed, GMES in Africa is a unique partnership between Africa and Europe in the field of Earth observation. Through it, we picture our cooperation. Now, let's focus on the significant results achieved since the last time the GMES and Africa community met. Among all the different results that we have already had a first insight, I have chosen 3 significant ones to mark out the path that we are building all together. These 3 significant results are the launch of the second phase of GMES in Africa, the inauguration of the EU-AU Space Dialogue, and the preparation of a new program, Africa-EU Space Partnership. So the first one, the launch of the second phase of GMES in Africa in early 2022 confirmed the needs and mutual interests in the Africa-EU Observation Partnership. We want to continue this long-standing and fruitful collaboration that began 20 years ago in the field of meteorology, climatology, and environment with Copernicus, while adapting it to new African expectations. For today and tomorrow, our focus is to reinforce the Earth observation innovation ecosystem, engaging the many institutional players and of the society, the private sector, and the academia. We are really proud to work hand in hand with the African Union Commission on this program and to continue supporting it. The second result that I would like to emphasize is the first EU-EU Space Dialogue that took place in Dakar in October. It gathered high-level policy actors of the space partnerships, not only on Earth observation, but also on satellite navigation and satellite communication. This was the first ever EU-AU Space Dialogue. It marks a new era in our collaboration in space. We want co-construction, win-win, and sustainable partnerships. And GMES in Africa paves the way to it. The third significant result, a new space program. We are preparing this jointly with the African Union Commission and European partners, such as the European Space Agency and EUMETSAT. The program will contribute to enhance institutional and innovation space cooperation framework. It will also continue to improve capacity to produce and deliver space-based services in the green transition. And finally, it will strengthen Africa's space private sector ecosystem and industrial cooperation. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, these actions at policy and operational levels allow us together to overcome global challenges faced by our 2 continents. 2 of them, the twin green and digital transition of our societies, are considered top political priorities by the European Commission under the leadership of President von der Leyen. The ambition of the EU in both of these areas are clear. In addition, promoting the social transition to make them sustainable, inclusive, and equitable is also key. The green transition, the European Union Green Deal, is an ambitious agenda to turn Europe into a modern, resource-efficient, and competitive economy with net zero emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050. The fight against climate change and the acceleration of the green transition is not only a shared concern, but also a shared commitment. With the COP28 starting this week, the topics discussed here in this forum are even more relevant and important. We are all working towards a more sustainable future, and we know that this community can be instrumental. Secondly, the digital policy. The European Union wants to ensure a human-centric approach to digitalization, accelerate the digital transition, fight against the global digital divide, and strengthen access to secure digital connections. The EU Innovation Agenda, adopted last July, largely includes the same priorities: green transition, public health, capacities for science, innovation, and technology. Over the last 20 years of collaboration between the European Union and the African Union in space also enable us to achieve these objectives together and based on a mutual partnerships. And we need to do more. To develop all these programs and their applications, the EU relies on the Global Gateway Africa-Europe initiative. This strategy includes investment in digital technology, education and research among the main priorities. This strategy is also a way for the European Union to develop a real partnerships with the entire African continent, beneficial for all the stakeholders involved. This means creating better opportunities for African and European space ecosystems, promoting synergies within the continent itself. For us, it's key that our two continents work together to achieve greater digital sovereignty and meet ambitious climate goals. This is why we consider this forum so important. Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this week the GMES and Afro Forum will show what Earth observation can do for resilience and innovation in Africa. And in that, science and research linked to space have a crucial role. They can drive innovation and economic growth, as well as increase resilience and boost the well-being of our societies. Why? Science, and particularly Earth observation, provides the foundation for understanding and addressing complex environmental, social, and economic issues that affect the Earth and its inhabitants. Science's role in Earth observation ensures the accuracy, reliability, and scientific rigor of the data collected, which in turn supports informed decision-making and effective responses to climate change. Earth observation is a catalyst for progress and resilience in the face of numerous challenges. By investing in it, we not only improve the lives of the citizens, but contribute to the global effort to address environmental issues. Scientific involvement and the use of space data and related services is being crucial not only for GMES and Africa, but also for other ongoing programs. I'm thinking here about the Climate Services and Related Application Program, CLIMSA, or the Biodiversity and Protected Areas Management Program, BioPAMA, or the establishment of the African Network of Centers of Excellence on Water, Science and Technology, just to name a few. I'm here happy to inform you that we are launching a new ambitious action to reinforce regional centers of excellence related to green transition, to continue, for example, BioPAMA and ACE Water. So let's continue to support and prioritize science and innovation in Earth observation to ensure resilience for our future well-being. To conclude, I really would like to thank all of you who was involved in the preparation of this forum and continue to participate actively on a daily basis in GMES and Africa. I hope and I'm sure that we will have intense and rich productive forum with plenty of exchanges, knowledge sharing, which will enable us to identify recommendations for our future partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for that very inspiring speech, talking about what GMES entails. Of course, I think there's no better person to explain that than Catherine, who's been with us from phase one, even before GMES, the predecessor programs. Has been a very important player in all of those programs. So thank you for that speech, Catherine. I now have the honor to invite the representative of the Egyptian government, our host, Professor Islam Abu Al-Majd, who's also been involved in GMES and Africa from the beginning. He's no stranger here on this platform, and it's an honor to have him address us in this opening ceremony. Professor.
Good morning, everybody. His Excellency Mohammed bin Hussein, Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology and the Innovation African Union Commission, welcome in Egypt. Her Excellency Catherine Guyot, on behalf of representation of the European Commission, my dear colleague Dr. Tidiane Ouattara, the coordinator of GMES and Africa, All my colleagues, good morning. On behalf of His Excellency, the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Professor Ayman Ashur, he is transferring his warm greetings and welcome to you all in Egypt, in Sharm Sheik, for the GMES and Africa first forum for second phase. Who doesn't know me? I'm Islam Abul Magda. I'm the president of the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Sciences. And I am pleased to be the advisor to the Minister for Space Technology and African Relations for many years. I do have the great pleasure to be with you today and welcome you in Egypt and here in Sharm Sheikh, the city of peace. They always call it since the first peace conference being in 1980s here in Sharm Sheikh. And you would see that Sharm Sheikh is a very beautiful coastal city that suits the GMES and Africa thematic focus area of coastal and marine. Please do enjoy your time to fiddle around and see the coast and scenery of the coastal zone. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we all realize that the globe in general and the African continent in specific are facing a wide range of challenges that create pressure in human beings and constrain the developmental plans. Cross-border natural resources and environmental crisis, climate changes, poverty, jobless, conflicts are among many other major issues that require real-time or near real-time information to resolve it. It will also require cross-border cooperation, coordination, and management to provide decision makers and practitioners to support their decision and action plans. Hence, much attention and interest to be for space, science, and technology to tackle such challenges. Egypt strongly believes that space technology, remote sensing, and digitalization will be the driver of African economy and achieve significant growth in social and economic in our continent. For you to know that Egypt started using Earth observation since 1970s. It's over 50 years now. We are using remote sensing and space technology. We established a remote sensing center in 1971, which was transformed into a national authority for remote sensing and space sciences affiliated to the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. And this was the cradle of all the space program in Egypt and the launch of the Egyptian Space Agency. NARS is mandated to promote research and development and innovation of space applications for the benefit of our society. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be proud of ourselves as African. Africa has moved very solid steps forward in space and developed its own continental space policy and strategy, and established already an African Space Agency that is hosted here in Cairo. This agency will drive all space activities in the continent and ensure access of infrastructure, data, and services to African member states. Egypt, in partnership with African member states and African Union Commission, shared and invested in developing both policy and strategy and invested in the establishing of the agency. And we will continue to provide the full support for the operation of this agency to achieve its goal and to achieve social and economic growth, achieving African Agenda 2063. Among the four thematic focus areas of the space strategy, African space strategy, is Earth observation. And we think that GMES and Africa, in partnership with Europe, European partner, leapfrog the application of remotely sensed data in thematic areas of land, water, and coastal and marine to provide value-added services and information to our stakeholders. Key principle of the space policy is the capacity development of our African scientists and engineers, and in this context, Egypt provide yearly scholarships to African member states for both graduate and undergraduate and postgraduate studies. And one important theme of these scholarships is space science and applications in all related disciplines. This indeed play a key role in capacity development, not only such scholarships, but also we have technical short-term training in space application and space engineering. And this year only, we trained more than 200 engineers and scientists in space engineering and remote sensing applications. Ladies and gentlemen, we also reiterate our position that we are committed to provide full support to the African Space Agency, to the African Union, and ESTI activities in Africa with our diverse universities, research and development center, industrial facilities, and all resources that will speed up the implementation of the continental policy and strategies for the Africa we want. Finally, I wish you a very fruitful forum, very fruitful discussion and deliberations, and I wish you a good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Islam. And key highlights of his speech are very important indeed, especially when we talk about the challenges we face in Africa and in the world at large that EO is able to address. Professor Islam also underlined the importance of the African Space Agency, which Egypt is hosting, and the country's commitment to continue supporting the agency and to continue working together with the African Union in implementing the African Space Program. Thank you once again. Well, we'll have our own commissioner from the African Union Commission, His Excellency Professor Mohamed Belhossein, who is the Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation, and the department overseeing GMES and Africa, the space program, and related initiatives. I am honored singularly to invite Professor Belhossein to the podium for his opening statement. Your Excellency.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Good morning. Professor Islam Abul Magd, my brother, President of the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Sciences of Egypt. Madame Catherine Guillot, Directeur Général INTPA, representative of the European Commission today with us here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by conveying to you the warm greetings from the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohammed, and I wish also to extend my gratitude to and my congratulations to the government and the people of Egypt for hosting this first forum of GMES and Africa Phase 2. The first forum of GMES and Africa's second phase is another unique opportunity for us as stakeholders to reflect on our collective success and challenges. This will help us to build on our achievements, learn lessons, and also forge new partnerships. The theme of this forum, Earth Observation for Resilience and Innovation in Africa, is equally significant. It should be noted that in the last 3 decades, Africa has made significant progress in many areas. Life expectancy has improved. School enrollment is on the increase, and carbon emissions have been lowered below the global average. We have also seen important breakthroughs in disaster risk management by African countries who are adopting more proactive prevention and preparedness methods. But as was said before, despite these advancements, effective prevention and climate adaptation measures remain critical challenges for sustainable development. With projected increases in global temperature and severe weather in parts of Africa, the risks facing many households that depend on rain-fed agriculture for their livelihoods remain a cause of concern, particularly in this period where food security is a big threat in our continent. And given their dependence on natural resources and climate conditions, agriculture and food security are bound to be affected. Natural hazards are increasing in frequency and impact as climate-related disasters deepen current economic and environmental challenges. These and other priorities are the cornerstones of the Agenda 2063 and the African Space Policy and Strategy. The aim is to ensure improved standards of living with transformed, inclusive, and sustained economies in the continent. It is worth recognizing the political will among the African governments to nurture and build a viable and vibrant outer space program for the continent through the African Space Agency. I must once again congratulate Egypt for its selection to host the agency and for taking the necessary steps to build the premises that will be the center of operations for Africa's space activities. Through ongoing joint efforts between the government of Egypt and the African Union Commission, we are optimistic that the agency will be operational sooner than later. A strong institutional pillar of the African Outer Space Program is indeed the GMES and Africa initiative, established jointly with our European Union partners. 7 years after its inception, and as the unique whole continental Earth observation program, the GMES and Africa is a demonstration of the value borne by the long-term partnership between Africa and Europe. It has achieved tangible results and made impact across a wide range of thematic domains in water and natural resources, marine and coastal areas, amongst others. It has developed services, products, and applications that address flooding, wetlands, land degradation, ship traffic monitoring, and fisheries management, amongst other priorities. This makes GMES and Africa a reference for continental and international collaboration on Earth observation. I wish to sound a note of optimism that the discussions and outcome of last month's space dialogue between the African Union and the European Union in Dakar, Senegal, as well as the next AU-EU Space Partnership Program that is currently under development, will further strengthen the two continents' cooperation on space through GMES and Africa and similar initiatives, and that it will improve our collective capacity to solve many of the challenges confronting Africa through Earth observation data and applications. For Africa, the integration of Earth observation data into evidence-based decision-making processes will help the continent in creating the right strategies for managing its natural resources and building a sustainable environment. But the key to attaining these objectives depends on increased investments, good policies, capacity building, and viable partnerships. We must be able to pool our risks and resources to support the Earth observation enterprise, where funding and investment should be dictated by needs of the beneficiary communities. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us work together in bringing Earth observation directly into citizen science for community empowerment. Let us go beyond engagement at the regional, institutional, and national levels and push collaboration down to end users at the community level. And it is possible and doable with the current development of technologies and digitalization. To make impact on the lives of the beneficiaries, we must assimilate indigenous knowledge in Earth observation service and product development. When indigenous perspectives and know-how are taken on board, there is guarantee for ownership and sustainability. I wish to thank all the stakeholders in the GMES and Africa program, including consortia, partners, the private sectors, academia, for their contribution to the successes recorded by the program. I urge all of us to take advantage of the next 4 days to dialogue and network for even bigger achievements in the ongoing second phase of GMES and Africa. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We couldn't have a stronger message from the policy chief overseeing Earth observation space at the African Union Commission. Indeed, Commissioner underlined the opportunity that the forum is providing for us to reflect on what we have achieved so far, and also see how to address some of the challenges that have been confronting us. He also talked about the pertinence of the team in the context of Africa's developmental priorities. The Commissioner talked about GMES as a demonstration of the long-standing partnership between Africa and Europe, especially in the domain of space and Earth observation. And I believe one important part of the message was what we need to do to take Earth observation to the next level. I believe that message has been very well received. Thank you once again, Your Excellency. So that brings us to the end of the opening speeches, and next we will be having the opening of the exhibition just behind this wall. But before that, I'd like to invite consortium leaders who are sitting in front to join the high table for a group photo. Actually, in the program, the group photo would have been after the press conference, but we thought this is the best moment before everybody starts moving around to invite our consortium leaders who are already sitting right in front of me to join the high table for a group photo. Then right after that, we'll go to the exhibition, and we'd want the leaders to join the high table whilst the remaining delegates are seated. And after they're done at the exhibition, we'll come for the press conference. There too, we'd like some of the leaders to join the high table for Q&A with the journalists. So I'm honored to invite consortium leaders to join the high table for a group photo. Coordinator. Yes.